15.4 Libby Ferguson, Part 3. During a basketball game, a player falls with their arm extended, landing on their hand. This sends a shock up their arm to their shoulder, which causes it to dislocate. Dislocation, as stated by Adams et al. 2010, is the displacement of the position of bones, often caused by a sudden impact. On inspection, it is clear that the joint is out of place, and it is clear to see that the head of the humerus is sticking out but is not piercing the skin. It is highly important that the joint is immobilized as quickly as possible, which is typically seen in the form of a sling. Just like with the ankle injury, the steps that need to be followed follow the RICE acronym. So the shoulder needs to be rested, which will prevent the injury from getting worse. Ice will be applied to the injured area to reduce the inflammation. However, this is typically done once the shoulder is in the sling, as the sling is the compression stage, due to it acting as a support as well as immobilizing it. So the sling is applied by having the short end of the triangular bandage pointing towards the elbow, then wrapping the point at the top over their bad shoulder. The other point will wrap under their arm and over their good shoulder to be tied up behind the neck. So the E in the acronym should not be conducted, as elevating a dislocated shoulder, in fact moving a dislocated shoulder at all, could make the injury worse, as well as put the person in greater pain. The injured person should be then taken to A&E, where they will relocate the joint, as it should not be attempted to be relocated with a non-professional, as there are many factors and risks, and it could also make the injury worse. So from weeks 1 to 6 will be the re-establishing functional activity and repair phase. So once my client has been discharged from hospital, then they will need to wear a sling for up to 2 weeks, which is purely for comfort reasons for their shoulder. However, they are allowed to take it off to perform some gentle exercises to help keep their lower part of the arm functional, as well as at the shoulder, which is why the exercises need to be gentle. All the exercises require the athlete to sit down, and will have the other arm used as a support. With the arm that has the injured shoulder being held at a 90-degree angle across the body, whilst being supported, then the client can gently rock the arms side to side as far as it will go without pain. This can also be done by rocking the arm forward and backwards, so this would be towards and away from the body, just to get a little bit of motion in the shoulders. Other exercises that can be performed are static strengthening exercises. So for these exercises, the elbow will be bent at a 90-degree angle. The arm does not need to move. So all exercises should be conducted 3 times and held for 10 seconds, and repeated of about 3 times a day. So the first exercise requires the client to face the wall with their fist touching it. They should attempt to push the wall forward with their fist. This is to strengthen their shoulder flexors. The next exercise requires the athlete to stand with their back to the wall, and they should attempt to push it backwards with their elbow. The next exercise requires them to stand parallel to the wall with their injured side against the wall, and they should try and push the wall away with their whole arm. Next, they should place a rolled up top or something small and soft under their armpits of the injured arm, and they should try and squeeze their entire arm into the side of their body. So next is from about week 6 to week 12. So next are strengthening exercises. For this, my client will need a stick or another log object. So first, they should try and lift the object above their head as high as they can go without pain, and hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. This will also be a good way to measure progress. As you can see, the higher up they go above their head each time they do it. Next, they should remain holding the stick in both hands, with their good hand pushing the stick so that the arm with the injured shoulder is getting pushed out to their side This again should only be done to a comfortable position and should be held for 5 to 10 seconds. Again with the stick, my client will lie on their back with their elbow of the injured arm tucked in against their body, and they will slowly push the stick with their good hand so that their other arm moves outwards. Other exercises they can do, so this time with a resistance band attached to the wall at about waist height, then standing side on, hold the resistance band, so the side that the good shoulder is will face the wall. So they hold the resistance band in their hand with the inside and pull it out. So they're essentially rotating their arm. So whilst performing this, the elbows should be kept by their sides at all times. Once the arm has rotated out, it should be held there for about 5 seconds before they slowly return it to the starting position, rather than just letting it go and going back quickly, as that quick motion could injure or re-injure, I should say, the shoulder again. So this exercise can be adapted by increasing the resistance band strength. As well, you can change the exercise as well, so then by switching the sides that the body is facing, so the bad shoulder side would be facing the wall. The same exercise can be conducted, except this time they'll be pulling the band across their body rather than away from it. So now then they can put their back to the wall. My client can attempt to push the band away from their body in sort of a punching motion. They can also face the wall, and they can try and pull the band back towards them. So lastly, from weeks 12 onward, so to keep my client's cardiovascular endurance up, they can go for cycle rides, as this doesn't really require the arms to be engaged. As well, it will also help to strengthen the athlete's legs, as they haven't been focused on due to the shoulder injury. As well, my client is able to go running, however they should be careful as arms do swing when running to gain momentum and stuff, so if their arm starts to ache, then they should stop. But running will help to improve their cardiovascular endurance to get them ready to be back playing basketball. After about week 14, the shoulder should nearly be completely healed, and my client can slowly get back into playing basketball. At first, they should just perform chest passes over a short distance to firstly see if their shoulder aches whilst performing these tasks. Next, they can try shots, but only if their shoulder didn't hurt in the previous task. They can also try dribbling, although this will be a lot of work for their arm, as it will be weak from not doing much exercise for the previous 14 weeks. So therefore, I will set my client a target of practicing dribbling for about 15 minutes a day, as to not overtire their arm, but it be enough that they can start practicing their dribbling skills again. My client can also participate in plyometric training, as basketball requires high level of jumping and bounding, so it would be good for my client to slowly get used to that before they go back to training. So to start, on one leg they will hop round in the shape of a square. Once complete, they can switch their legs over. They'll perform squat jumps, but taking care to not swing their shoulders too much, as to not re-injure their arm. They can also perform lateral bounds, as this will help them work on bounding in different directions, which they may need to do in a game to intercept a pass. They can also perform a box jump, and they can increase the size as to increase their height on their jump, which will be useful in a game of basketball. And to finish, they can perform lunge jumps, but making sure to alternate their legs as to not exercise just one leg. If they're able to perform all of these tasks without any pain in their shoulders, then they can head back to training. However, they should not play contact for another 2 weeks or so due to their shoulder even, in case it gets bashed by going up to get a rebound shot or defending, just in case it injures itself again.